Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Donathan. I'm starting off this presentation just giving a little overview of what my problem is. I have found through extensive research and a lot of experience in special education that there is often a gap between high school and secondary education. This leaves students feeling lost because they're not getting the right advising and they don't have the right resources in order to explore other opportunities other than just high school. Um, this is a big issue, and I think that with the proper organization implemented, students would be able to reach their fullest potential with a little assistance. Okay, so for the time being, I'm just going to read off the summary of the organization and go in a little bit more in depth. So, many students who are part of the special education programs across the United States are left without direction once they reach the age gap. This is a huge issue because many of these students are perfectly capable of employment, independent living with support, and basic education. They, however, lack proper advising, which leads them to an academic employment dead end. After Ed focuses on directing these students in ways that will allow them to have access to university classes, employers, and independent living with a little help of trained live-in aides who are assigned no more than 4 students. Um, so, I really think this is key about the employers and independent living because overall every parent pictures their child independently living at some point, and I think this is really where we gain support of parents just because every parent wants to see their child succeed, and by succeeding they picture independent living. Okay, so this is a key aspect in the process of determining what is best fitted for the student. So each student would have to go to an in-person interview, which assesses academic records, physical ability, and mental emotional stableness. Um, this is very necessary because in order for proper placement, we need to properly assess the student and their abilities. I wanted to really emphasize one point in this, though, that this is only to address the best path for the student, but does not hinder acceptance in any way. After Ed is not based on acceptance, rather than we try and help every student. And if we're unable to help a student specifically, we will direct them to a path that is still best fitted for them, maybe another supportive organization, or maybe a live-in aid, just certain circumstances like that. We really base the student's needs individually and not as a group. Because we have students with varying abilities, we'll be working with mild to severe cases. I think it's important to have certain levels that each student can be assigned to. So, for example, university placement. This is the highest placement. It costs the most, and these will include attending university classes along with independent living classes like how to schedule an appointment, where to get groceries and how to shop sales, public transportation, and these students will also independently live with a 24/7 aide. They could live in a very specific dorm room floor and have RAs just like any other college that are there 24/7. Our second placement would be employment. We'll assess students and we will determine where employment would be best. So we would get these employers to want to hire these students just because it's local. Um, all these students are very capable of doing um, jobs or what they require. And then I also think that having this reputation of helping the community and giving back will also bring in a decent amount of income and people wanting to support their business. So for our third placement, this would simply just be classes through the organization, independent living classes, much like um, the classes we talked about under university placement and employment placement. I want classes among each branch in order to better help each student live independently. The main goal is for each student to be able to take public transportation so they won't have to rely on their parents. All right, this is one of the special education teachers back on my high school campus. Her name is Diane. She has been a part of the special education program for a very long time now and has a lot of useful insight as to why this program could be successful. And she really thinks that it would be just because when it comes to advising students on to higher education, she's at a loss because she doesn't know what paths are available. All right, this is Kyle Robson. He's a dear friend of mine. He's actually one of Diane's students. When talking to him, he also agrees that this would be a great idea because he, in fact, would partake in this universe or in this organization just because he is at that age cap in the special education system. So this is a key aspect in the success of this organization. Basically, how will people find out about the services we offered, and also this kind of ties into how will we get funding. I believe I want flyers in school offices, classrooms, and other organizations that work with the same population, just as if we were another college. I want representatives from our organization at college nights across the state or country. Um, I also want lost students. Lost students could be pointed in our direction from teachers, counselors, and school advisors. I think this is really key. I just need awareness. Along with this, I want to partner with other organizations just in case we can't offer what our students need. So Down Syndrome Connection of the Bay Area, Pacific Autism Center for Education. I want these partners so we can build a strong community as to directing these students properly. I just use these California ones just because that's where I'm from, so I'm familiar with the area. Okay, so this slide is kind of straightforward. Just some stakeholders. We need their support. The community, parents with students in special education programs, university, faculty, students, high school administration, and other organizations. This complex network is what makes this a wicked problem. Along with this, we need funding through donations, grants, and tuition, kind of what we talked about before. And we need a reliable and easy accessible location, which will also be key, and then just basic school supplies for classroom needs. Okay, and I think through my interviews and everything I have just talked about, I really think that this will be a successful program. You can read a little bit more about why under this slide, but I think this is a great idea, and I think it will really flourish and help the community.